You're not broke. In fact, you make good money, but your finances feel dead. Not because you're bad with money, but because you're making the right decisions in the wrong order. In this video, I'll use a simple but boring framework I use with families like yours to help you reduce stress, make a little more progress, and build a repeatable system that you can start using today and see real momentum within the next 30 days. This framework is called The Power of $500, and it's going to help us in 3 areas of our finances and money: debt, save, grow. And the way I like to think about it is debt is the least valuable thing that we could be doing with our money. Us paying money to other people doesn't seem like a great way to grow our net worth, right? Saving money is a great way to hold the status quo. It's really hard to get rich off of saving money, but it is better than debt. And then growing our money, whatever that means for you, is the most optimal way to improve our net worth and our personal finances. And I want you to think about these in steps. Not that I'm saying you have to pay off debt first and then save money and then grow your money, but in steps of how we should be thinking about growing our net worth, for example. And in order to do that, we have to go to the drawing board here. And no, this is not a drawing done by my 4-year-old son. This is a drawing done by me, a fully functioning adult. So what are we even looking at here? This is you. You are on a penthouse suite balcony, right? Awesome view. Maybe there's some mountains over here or oceans. We don't need me to draw more, right? You get the point. This is what I notice a lot of people do inside of the personal finances. They go to the top floor, the sexiest thing that they can possibly think of, which is growing your money. And it makes sense, right? Everyone talks about passive income, making money while we're sleeping, having our money grow its own money. But here's the problem. Physics doesn't allow us to have a hovering penthouse suite at this time. I mean, maybe someone's working on something, right? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now, but maybe this is happening. We need some sort of building or structure to be able to first get to this point. But the first idea that people have is, oh my God, people are making money by, with all these passive income things. I need to get in the game too. So I need to grow my money. And yes, you do need to grow your money, but that's not step 1 here. So I'm going to keep drawing here. I know. I'm going to try to do this really quick and fast for you guys. So I mentioned 3 steps, but there's actually a bonus 4th step. Now here's the ground, right? We have some nice grass. Okay. Now here are the 3 steps that we talked about: debt, save, grow. Again, this is not me saying you have to pay off all your debt first before you start saving any money, and you have to save all the money before you start growing your money. That's not what I'm saying here, but just to think about maybe in terms of your net worth, right? Because that's the easiest measure that we all have in order to see the kind of progress that we're making. Imagine trying to grow your money and you're like, wow, I'm getting a 10% return on this thing, but you have debt that's, costing you 22% of interest. We all love the idea of compounding interest. Everyone talks about, oh, it's the 8th wonder of the world. This is so incredible. But guess what, guys? There's compounding interest in debt too. And it's just working against us, but nobody's talking about that. That's why this is really like the first floor. And to take this a step deeper here, this bottom floor is mindset. And this is the stuff that we don't even see. This is literally the foundation of the building. It's under the ground. It's not visible. Nobody sees it. But you know it's there because it's up here. So that's what we're going to talk through all these in this video. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is debt. And this is a debt payment calculator. I've entered in some random numbers here. This is what I want to show you why the power of $500 is so significant. And the idea here is that every month we find $500 in our finances that already exist. We don't have to get another job. We don't have to sell that weird thing in the basement on eBay to be able to make this happen. We just need to be able to understand the tools and everything like that and how to get there. And I'm going to be talking about that later on. But first, let's just go through the debt payment calculator and see how this works, see how the power of $500 makes a significant difference in your finances and to your net worth. So I've just entered in some random information here. You can enter whatever you like. As you can see, I was kind of general: credit card 1, credit card 2. You could put the company name. You could name this whatever you want. This is for you. The current balance for all of these, okay? The current interest rate and the minimum payments for each of them. As you can see, in this example, we have $59,000 of debt and our minimum payment is $600. So I'm going to scroll down here. And this section, this monthly payment, is going to ask us, hey, how much are you paying towards your debt? Like, how much are you putting towards it? So let's just say, we're doing the thing. We're making the minimum payments. We're good boys and girls. So I'm going to put $600 here. Now, when we scroll down again, we have the calculator portion of this. And this is the coolest part about this. So we still have the same information here. We have all the loans. We have the amounts. But you'll see we have some new sections in here. We have the total interest paid based on the information we've entered, how many months each line it's going to take to pay off, and then the date, the month and year associated with those months. So first of all, I think a big issue that we all have as a society is we walk around thinking like, oh, okay, I have $59,000 in debt, and that's a lot, right? But you walk around thinking that because you're up to date on your stuff. You know how much debt you have approximately, right? So you're walking around like, oh, I have $59,000. Actually, based on this example, to pay your minimum payments, you're forgetting about the $100,000 of interest that you will be paying off over the life of the loan. So really, you have 100,000 plus 59,000, so $159,000 of debt that you're going to be paying off. That sounds crazy. And if we just look at the minimum payments here, I mean, I'm recording this in 2025, guys, and it's going to take us 23 years to pay off $59,000 of debt. Okay, so if we're actually serious about paying off our debt, that's just kind of unacceptable in my personal opinion. So we have to find a better way. What do we do? Well, first, there's two strategies that we can think through. There's the avalanche method, which I have up on the screen here. This is a simple drop down in the debt payment calculator. And what this is the calculator will order your debts in order of highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. And the idea here is because interest is such a killer on debt, the compounding impact is significant. People forget about the debt part about it, but there is compounding in debt. This will eliminate the interest faster, making it, you're going to save more money in the process doing it this way. Whereas the snowball method the calculator will rank your debts in order of smallest loan amount to highest loan amount. And what happens here is you're likely going to get a faster win paying off the smallest loan first, depending on how small your first loan is, right? But the idea is it's going to give you the quick wins, the mental wins, if you will, to kind of stick with it and keep going. So each of these kind of has a slightly different calculation, as you can see here. But let's stick with the avalanche method for right now. So let's just say we were to enact the power of $500. So we went through the personal finance operating system inside of Dollar Discipline University, my community, and you're able to go through that process and find an extra $500 a month, and you're like, great, I'm thinking about my personal finance building, right? And I want to get rid of this debt as soon as possible. So how do I apply that $500 to this, and how does it make sense, and what's the benefit? So I had to zoom back out a little bit to make sure we could see all this. But let's say our monthly payment now, we're going to change to $1,100. What I want you to do is look at the bottom here. When I hit enter at the total interest paid and how that's going to change, and the debt-free date. So we have $99,000 of interest in February 2048. I'm going to hit enter, and holy crap, right? Holy crap. We went from basically $100,000 of interest to $15,000 of interest, and it went from 2048 to 2031. So it went from 23 years to 6 years, and we're saving $85,000 in total of interest, which is just insane. Think about the things that you could do with $85,000 and 17 years of your life back of being stress-free. Now, if $500 seems like, oh, that's a lot for me, I want you to reframe that in a way of like, how do I make this happen for me? Because this is super impactful. So how can I get to this point to figure it out? Right, and we can go to the snowball. You can see there's gonna be a slight difference here. So the avalanche, you will save a little more money. The snowball, you will pay off that first loan a little faster. So there are advantages to each. When I was paying off $43,000 of debt, my wife and I used the snowball method because we had so many loans. We had like 12 loans. It was just embarrassing and ridiculous. So we're like, let's just pay off the smallest ones. We'll keep the momentum going, et cetera, et cetera. But that's the power of $500 in debt. Now let's talk about saving money. The power of $500 with saving money is going to be a little less strategic. Not as optimized necessarily. It's going to be more of a habit that we're building. Because think about, okay, you get paid and you put $500 into an account. Does that make us rich? No, of course not. Does doing that time and time again make us rich? Probably not. Like $500 a month, it's a lot of money. It's great and everything, but it's not really growing, and it's probably barely beating inflation, maybe. The whole point behind saving money every month is we want to build a habit of, one, paying ourselves first. So think about, you get paid and then you instantly send money to an emergency fund or like a savings, something. It doesn't matter, but it's just building the habit. So maybe you get paid twice a month. So you put $250 a paycheck towards the thing that you're trying to do. And it's just building up a habit that, hey, when I get paid, I need to pay my future self first before I start paying I don't know, lenders or, doing stuff with friends and family, doing stuff for myself. Like I need to take care of that first. Maybe you've heard the saying that you can't eat an elephant in one full sitting, or something like that, right? I don't know why people are eating elephants, but you get the point. It's like it's this big, massive thing, and we obviously can't eat it in one sitting. This is how we also think about our finances, right? Because if you look anywhere on the internet about like talking about maybe an emergency fund, people say like, oh, hey, you ask Google or you ask your favorite AI, how much do people have in their emergency fund? How much should I be putting in my emergency fund? You'll likely get probably 90% of the responses you get are going to say, hey, all experts say 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses is an amazing emergency fund. And guess what? They're probably right. But when you see that, when we all see that, and then we look at how much we're spending, we multiply it times 3 or 6, it's like, wow, I have to save $30,000, right? Or whatever your number is. That seems heavy. That's like, wow, I have to eat a whole elephant right now, right? So the whole goal is like not that we're going to have to save $30,000 like a paycheck. The goal is just building up time and time and time and time again and make it a non-negotiable no matter what. I've helped a lot of people build up their emergency fund just by doing this. Just by, okay, I'm just going to stick to this. I'm going to pay myself first and everything else I'm just going to figure out later. And that's why this saving money is sort of the status quo, right? Because with debt, we're trying to reduce the amount of interest that we're paying someone else. Like debt is physically giving money to someone else for something that we purchased or did a while ago, and we're like paying that back. And that is expensive. Saving money isn't going to make us rich, but it's way better than giving other people money because now we're giving that money to ourselves, our future selves. But saving money alone won't get us to the thing. And that's something we're going to talk about in the growing stage. Now, we already saw the compounding effects of paying off our debt and how that impacts our net worth positively, right? Because that's the whole thing we're trying to do with our finances is make positive financial progress. And here's how this will look with growing our money. And now this is a compounding interest calculator. You can just go on the internet and find one that what you like. It doesn't really matter. So we have to fill out some information here first. So initial deposit, it doesn't let me put zero. So I put $1. Years of growth. Let's say you're 35 years old and I don't know, you want to get to the standard society retirement age of 65. So let's just say it's 30 years, okay? Estimated rate of return is kind of tricky. If you look historically at some of the broader market funds or whatever, it's like 10 to 12% is the return for those. Now, returns that have happened in the past are not guarantees of what's going to happen in the future. It could be worse, it could be better. No one really knows. But let's just be conservative and say 8%. Compounding frequency, we can leave that at monthly. And the contribution amount, we know we're going to add our power of $500 here to see what that looks like. So over 30 years, if we contribute $500 per month, here's what's going to happen, right? In the beginning, the green line is interest and the blue line is principal, meaning how much money we've contributed. So in the beginning, you see there's not really much like where's all my money, right? But as you go, it gets steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper. And at the end of this 30 years, you've contributed $180,000. You can see down here in the little box, but our interest is actually accrued to $565,000. So basically just putting in $500 a month over that long period of time has a significant impact, right? But this is not anything new. Everyone knows about the idea of compounding interest and how it works with their money. But the tricky part is like, why aren't enough people doing it then, right? Because if everyone knows that this exists and we'll call it a cheat code, then why isn't everyone doing it? And we also know that if you've ever tried to grow your money before, your chart is not going to look like this, by the way, right? It's going to be up, it's going to be down. There's going to be things of like, oh my God, should I sell? Should I buy more? And if we just stick to the plan over a long enough time horizon, that's when this works. Growing our money does not work when we look at it all the time and we're like, oh my gosh, do I need to pull money back? Do I need to stop doing this altogether? Like, oh my gosh, the economy, the this, that, the other thing. Growing money there's risk. There's inherent risk to it. You might lose it all. You just don't know what's going to happen. But the compounding effect is inside of the power of $500 framework. Because think about it. If you add an extra $500 a month towards your debt, like we saw, amazing results. And then let's say you move that $500 towards your next bucket, which is like, okay, I need to, save up some money, have a nice cushion, have a good short-term safety net, right? And then once that's built up, then that $500 goes towards growing. So in this example, we're not paying off debt and saving money and growing our money because it's really hard to do all of that at the same time. effectively, I will say. And then over time, what's going to happen is we're going to increase our income. We're going to do all these other things, and you're probably going to be able to increase this over time. You're going to be more disciplined. You're going to be able to realign the money in a way that you want to realign it. And this is how you reach some level of financial goals. You might be sitting there thinking, okay, well, this is great and all. I get the compounding, I get the mindset, I get all this other stuff, but I don't know how to find an extra $500 a month in my finances. Like, things are really tight. I don't know how to even pay my bills right now. It's like, I don't have any flexibility. That's the exact reason why Dollar Discipline University exists, which is a personal finance community to help solve that very problem. In the classroom tab of the community, I have a personal finance operating system to help you do just that, okay? So there's a bunch of steps here, very small tactical steps. Some of it's around tracking, some of it's around mindset, some of it's just to get you to think about your money and how everything's working for you. So if that's interesting for you, there's gonna be a link below this video of how to join the community, where to start. But if this was interesting, let me know for you if you want to see more stuff like this. If you want me to draw more things, let me know. I'd love to, and I'll see you in the next video.